Good morning.
Good morning. Since Kosowski continued to show up without representation, the judge appointed the public defender's office to represent him. And Kosowski has continued to say that he does not want to represent himself during his trial. Time and time again, plastic surgeon Tomasz Kosowski has showed up alone in court. Months earlier, his entire legal team quit during a hearing after he accused them of fraud and forgery along with other issues.
Have you spoken to any lawyers since the last time we were here?
No, sir.
2 weeks ago? No?
No.
All right. Well, why not?
Because nobody's willing to come.
The doctor is accused of killing Steven Cozzi, a Pinellas County lawyer, in the bathroom at Cozzi's Largo office in 2023. Investigators believe Kosowski took the body out of the office, but Cozzi's body has still not been found. During this time, Cozzi was representing one of the defendants against a lawsuit which was filed by Kosowski. During his last hearing in late May, the judge asked what steps he was taking to finding new representation.
If we reset this for a couple of weeks, what efforts are you going to make to hire a lawyer?
Nothing new, sir.
Oh, so you're not going to do anything in the next 2 weeks?
What can I? I mean, it's my mother that's doing all the work.
His hearing will be held at 8:30 here this morning, and if convicted, the doctor faces the death penalty. For now, live in Clearwater, Alessandra Young, 8 on your side.
A swift verdict today in the murder trial of Ronnie Walker. He is now convicted of killing a 14-year-old Tampa girl.
Yeah, it took the jury only a few hours to find Walker guilty of murder in the first degree. And News Channel 8's Jenna Bass has the very latest now from the courthouse. Jenna.
Hi, guys. Yep, guilty on count 1 of murder in the first degree and count 2 of tampering with evidence. Now, following that guilty verdict, a very emotional family of 14-year-old Nylexia Alexander.
I got justice for my daughter, as I promised her I would.
Ronnie Walker remained emotionless as he heard the verdict, which took the jury less than 3 hours to deliver today.
The defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree as charged.
Walker was convicted of shooting Nylexia multiple times and leaving her body in an empty lot on West Florabraska Avenue in Tampa of May 2022.
Nylexia was able to communicate with us even after she was gone by virtue of the fact that her phone was in the back seat of Ronnie Walker's car. And so she was able to kind of leave breadcrumbs.
Nylexia's mother, Ashley Anderson, tearfully saying getting justice today for her daughter was a long time coming.
I could see her smiling down and say, "You did it, Mom. You did it. You did not give up. You stood in the paint." As she would say, you stood in the paint. And I did. I did this for her. We fought for her.
It was also an emotional day for another family. Walker was convicted of manslaughter for the death of Elaine Caldwell in 2003. Her daughter was also by Alexander's side today.
That man is a killer, and I'm so happy this girl got justice for her baby, and it's also for justice for my mama, too.
Walker's defense team declining to comment today. Now, the jury is scheduled to return Thursday at 10 a.m. to begin the penalty phase of the trial, and Walker is up against the death penalty. For now, we're reporting live in Tampa. Jenna Bass, 8 on your side.
Years we've heard of contractor schemes across the Tampa Bay area, but this time it's not a resident or your typical business falling victim. It's a local municipality. Pinellas County deputies say the city of Duneden is now out over $600,000, all thanks to a man posing as a longtime contractor. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers joins us now live at the Pinellas County Jail, where this man is locked up tonight. So, Nicole, how did this happen?
Josh, investigators say it all started with something as simple as an email. That led to a change in payment, which ended up with hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars gone.
It's very disheartening.
Nearly a year ago, the city of Duneden's finance director reached out to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, saying the city fell victim to an email scheme. Les Tyler told investigators the city had contracted with Asphalt Paving Solutions for years, and those payments were always made via paper check. Until June 13th, 2024, when deputies say an email was sent to several city employees requesting future payments be made via direct deposit. This affidavit alleges the city then sent a man later identified as George Barlow more than $663,000.
Checks and balances, that's why that's so important. checks and balances. Probably won't get back that money, though.
Where did that money go? Deputies say Barlow claims he was using that money to pay child support, but court records say those taxpayer dollars were also used for purchases with Carnival Cruises, Southwest Airlines, and Las Vegas Jordan Entertainment, to name a few. So what can Bay Area businesses do to protect themselves from schemes just like this one? We went to the Better Business Bureau to find out.
It's always important to vet an email that comes to you requesting information. Never click on the links, verify who the email is coming from, and whenever in doubt, contact the actual person or the company they're claiming to be that you have on record so you can engage in a conversation and verify the request being made.
According to court records, Barlow is here at the Pinellas County Jail with no bond. Live in Clearwater, Nicole Rogers, 8 on your side.
So this issue of what portion of beaches the public can use and access, it has been an issue that has divided coastal communities throughout our state for years. Governor Ron DeSantis says that it has been on his radar since he was elected to office.
This bill is about restoring local control, cutting legal red tape, and putting our residents first, but it goes even further to strengthen our coastal communities.
The new law repeals former legislation signed by lawmakers back in 2018. Now, the area below the average tide line, that's always been considered public access. But the previous law required a really long process for local governments to designate higher dry sand areas for public use. This newly signed legislation wipes away those requirements, allowing for walking, fishing, sunbathing, swimming in areas private property owners previously claimed as their own. The measure also makes it easier to restore eroded beaches in Gulf Coast counties with smaller populations. Individuals who have been fighting for this measure for years say that this is a big win.
Rentals are down. Business owners are suffering, seeing their balance sheets shrinking and their profit margins dwindling. The quality of life here is not what it used to be. And indeed, it's created a fractured community.
So this measure went into law when the governor signed it yesterday, so it's currently in place, affecting most who live in our state and those visitors as well. We're live in Reddington Beach. Beth Russo, 8 on your side.
8 on your side recently showed you an undercover operation that rescued children from human traffickers. The operation set a U.S. record by pulling 60 children from dangerous situations. And at the same time arresting 8 people accused of putting children in terrible situations. Tonight, we take you to the next step of the recovery for these children. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson joins us. He is live in Tampa with that. Jeff.
Good evening, Stacey. Taking children out of these terrible situations where some have been sold for sex is an awesome result of this 2-week operation, but it's not the end of the story for many of these children. Some have also been abused, some have become addicted to drugs, and all need help.
Our cameras were there as a task force led by the U.S. Marshal Service removed children from dangerous situations. Over a 2-week period in Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco counties, 60 children were recovered, sometimes taken from nondescript motels like this one in Pinellas Park. But for the children recovered, this isn't the end of the story. In some ways, it's only the start.
We actually have kids that live here full time.
Deborah Charles is a supervisor with Children's Home Network. She put in time in the hub, the first step for children removed from dangerous places by the U.S. Marshal Task Force. Some of the children are then brought here.
Our job is to make sure that once they left the hub, they were able to have a place to go to and be safe and kind of decompress from everything that they've been through.
We can't show you the faces of the children recovered, but many will meet someone like Stephanie Turner.
I came from a background of human trafficking, so I was trafficked for about 13 years.
She knows from personal experience what the children rescued by this operation will now face.
I don't have to constantly worry about when they're going to eat, who's coming in to see them, So safety has come to them now, and then just their healing journey, really. And it's going to be quite a long journey for these kiddos.
We can't even tell you the location of that recovery center because sometimes the children's abuser will try to reconnect with them, putting them back in the sex industry or having them sell drugs. But at least the children who are there now have a chance at a fresh start. Stacey?
That's great news, Jeff. Do you have any idea how successful the program is?
Well, the U.S. Marshals Service tells me they have about a 50% success rate. In other words, 50% of the children that they rescue from these difficult situations go on to have a productive life. This center, these efforts are giving them a chance at that, a choice to have that life. Stacey?
All right, Jeff Patterson live for us. Thank you.
Governor DeSantis signed 2 bills into law today that he says will expand resources, access, and programs for people who are struggling with mental health and substance abuse disorders. The governor says Florida has done a lot over the years with both issues through the Resiliency of Florida initiative that provides a wide variety of services or the state emergency 988 hotline. The governor says the state is taking more steps forward with these 2 new laws,
which implements key recommendations made by Florida's Commission on Mental Health and Substance Abuse Disorder.
Leaders say one bill will build a system to help prevent the worst type of crisis from happening and sets people up for success.
Maximize collaboration in key moments and settings and improve the state's ability to utilize behavioral health data to measure outcomes and identify future opportunities. More specifically, this legislation addresses the challenge many individuals with serious mental illness face in taking daily medication by expanding the use of long-acting medicine.
The other bill signed into law is also known as the Tristan Murphy Act.
Tristan Murphy was a young man. He had schizophrenia, paranoia, and delusions, but he was not provided the mental health care that he was really in dire need of when he got involved with the criminal justice system.
The governor says Murphy wasn't provided a pathway to have mental health intervention.
This led to a tragedy in 2001 on a work detail. Tristan committed suicide. So under this bill, counties and municipalities are going to be able to establish misdemeanor mental health programs as well as pretrial felony programs so that if people are in the justice system and they have these particularly really significant mental health afflictions, that we don't think that somehow just putting them in jail is always going to fix that.
This bill expands criminal justice, mental health, and substance abuse and prioritizes enhanced treatment and training in mental health diversion options.
Aims to bring comfort to families with loved ones with mental illness that worry about their loved one having an interaction with the criminal justice system. More specifically, the legislation expands the use of community-based mental health services for individuals living with mental illness who are involved in the criminal justice system.
Governor DeSantis says through working with the Senate and USF, they're naming the Florida Mental Health Institute after State Senator Darrell Roussan, who has been very influential and dedicated in both substance abuse and mental health. In Tampa, I'm Alessandra Young, 8 on your side.
Pinellas County beaches will soon be getting more sand. The county is doing an emergency beach nourishment project to restore the coastline lost during last year's hurricanes.
But they do need help from residents who live along the beach. 8 on your sides, Melissa Marino joins us. She is live in Treasure Island. Melissa.
Stacey and Josh, this is one of the areas that's going to be getting more sand. Take a look here behind me. You can see just how narrow it is here along the beach. But the final piece here, the county says after multiple attempts, they still need approval from more than 100 property owners living along the beach. Otherwise, this project and the sand is going to have to go around them.
A slice of paradise, but you can see the lingering damage on Sunset Beach. Businesses still decimated, the sand almost gone.
It's still bad. This year's bad, but next year will be better.
Pinellas County is undertaking an emergency beach nourishment effort to restore the coastline battered by recent hurricanes. County commissioners approved nearly $130 million to fund the emergency project from hotel bed tax dollars. Normally, the county would work with the Army Corps of Engineers, but for years they've struggled to get the required easements. And with hurricane season here, Public Works Director Kelly Hammer Levy says the county has run out of time. forcing them to take matters into their own hands.
We need to get as much protection on our beaches as possible.
The county will be using outside contractors to nourish the beaches starting in August. In the meantime, they're trying to reach property owners to get permission. Otherwise, the sand will have to go around them.
What it could look like is they could have a lower area there. The beach will be much higher on the public side and lower on the private side.
And right now, the county is working with the state because it's sea turtle nesting season. They're also finalizing contracts and working to get those easements secured. Now, this project, again, is supposed to start in August. We're told it will last 6 months and wrap up in March.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of logistics there, Melissa. So if property owners want a little information, what can they do?
Absolutely. And certainly the county, they want to hear from property owners. They want to make sure that they can evenly put this sand out here, so you can either reach out to the county. They also have 3 public meetings coming up specifically for this project. I've put those dates and locations on our website, WFLA.com.
Melissa Marino getting a nice suntan on this story today. Enjoy the beach. Thanks so much.
Puerto Rican Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is giving back to Polk County students in a unique and pretty tasty way. In today's For the Culture, we're taking a sneak peek at the Festival de Sandwich. It's a Hispanic-inspired sandwich competition where they did a fun play on some Spanglish there. Festival goers will sample some well-known Hispanic sandwiches, with the proceeds going to minority students in underserved communities. For 18 years, the Puerto Rican Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has helped Hispanic entrepreneurs while also giving back to the Polk County community. The upcoming festival going to focus on 3 sandwiches. We're talking about a Cuban, a medianoche, and a tripleta. Attendees, they'll try them all and pick the top 3. The winners get their own awards and trophies, but the true winners here, it's the students who will benefit from their annual scholarships. So if you want to indulge, if you want to support, everything goes down next Saturday. That's July 5th at 5 p.m. It'll take place at the Publix Field at Joker Merchant Stadium over in Lakeland. And I'll have those ticket details for you on our website, WFLA.com. There's also a baseball game associated with it. I think at this point, we're just going to have to keep our fingers crossed that the weather actually cooperates. All right, Amanda?
Yeah, for sure.
Sarasota County Schools just broke ground on a new school that will replace an aging one in Venice. Garden Elementary School suffered really significant damage back during Hurricane Ian in 2022. There are air quality concerns among parents and staff at the school. News Channel 8's Allison Henning gives us a closer look at plans for the new campus.
The new school will sit on the existing property off Center Road here in Venice. Crews are already on site prepping the property for construction to begin.
1, 2, 3.
With their hard hats on, Sarasota County district leaders and school board members turned over dirt to celebrate the groundbreaking of the new Garden Elementary School. The 130,000 square foot facility will feature modern classrooms, space for about 200 more students, secure fencing, and a car loop designed to hold 142 cars at once.
The school was damaged during Ian, and we had to come in and really shore it up. That was when we had the first indication that it was time to really seriously look at the rebuild.
In October of 2022, the Department of Education determined the more than 50-year-old school qualified for demolition. Just this year, faculty started raising concerns surrounding air quality in the aging school after some teachers and students started experiencing symptoms like headaches, congestion, and burning eyes. A study initiated in April found multiple areas requiring remediation. The consultants found mold and slightly elevated carbon dioxide levels in some classrooms and portables. Superintendent Terry Connor says the district has invested more than $500,000 to remediate those issues.
We feel that we have done our due diligence to ensure that the safety of our staff and our students and our parents are taken care of, and we're looking forward to this school year, one of our last 2 school years here at Garden Elementary before we open up the brand new school.
The timeline as it stands right now has this new school opening to students in 2027. Reporting in Venice, Allison Henning, 8 on your side.
The Rowdies have been on the struggle bus really since the start of the season. They fired head coach Robbie Nielsen after a 1-3 start and named Steve Coleman their interim head coach. But that change in leadership has yet to spark the positive change that the club was hoping for. Through 13 matches, the Rowdies find themselves at the bottom of the table in the Eastern Conference.
The good news is there's still a lot of soccer left to be played, and the Rowdies remain confident
they can turn things around.
There is a long way to go, and the table isn't where we want it to be, but for us, the message is always, it's not where you start, it's where you finish, one game at a time.
The Rowdies have had solid stretches of play this season, but they have yet to put together a complete 90-minute performance. In order to do that, they have to get off to faster starts. Heading into tonight's match, 8 of the 23 goals the Rowdies have given up in league play have come in the first half hour of a match.
We've had a lot of games this year where we go 1-0 down and we don't kind of give ourselves a chance, so we give ourselves a mountain to climb, and that's part of it, that we've got to start games with the right mentality and build that foundation for a 90-minute performance rather than 45 minutes of really good football and some lapses of concentration in other moments of the game.
A win over Indy 11 could provide the Rowdies some positive momentum heading into a much-needed long break. They won't return to action until Friday, July 4th, when they face off against FC Naples in the third round of the USL Jägermeister Cup. In St. Petersburg, Kenny Morales, 8 on your side.